Hello everybody! A few weeks ago I went to my local art store in order to get a new sketchbook, and not only did I end up leaving with 2 sketchbooks, I think we all know the issue going to an art store and spending way too much money. I also bought a new pack of brushes, but we're not talking about that today. We are talking about the water-soluble oil paints I was gifted as a sample. I did not expect that at all, especially because I did get 3 tubes, and you don't need a lot of the paints in my opinion, from what I've learned while using them, so they will last quite a while. So I just got some free paints, which is amazing. We all love free art supplies. And of course I had to test them right away. By the way, this is not sponsored or anything. I just wanted to try these and share it with you. As you saw, I started by doing some swatches, and then I just jumped right into a drawing or a painting, to be technically correct. I didn't really know how to use them because I also don't have any experience with oil paints, so the whole process proved to be a bit difficult, but I think I managed quite well for it being the first time using these. I started with a pretty easy motive, just this kind of bottle, tube, whatever that has paint flowing out of it. I really messed up along the way, but you'll see me trying to fix it. I think these paints performed quite well. I didn't have any canvases or canvas paper, so I feel like the paper I was using wasn't optimal for those water-soluble oil paints, but they still blended quite well. They were still quite vibrant, but the paper just couldn't take as much color as I would have liked it to. As you can tell, I'm kind of getting frustrated here in the background. I didn't really do a proper sketch for this, so I was kind of trying to just wing it, and it didn't really work, and I didn't know how to fix it, so I just tried to blend it out, and then I just ignored it and started doing the rest of the background with the intention of coming back later in order to fix it without being as frustrated as I was in the moment, because it just wasn't looking the way I had imagined it. Another challenge I faced here was the color palette, because I don't usually work with those very vibrant colors, and mixing my paints is also something I still need to work on. I'd say I'm still very early in my own art journey, so there's tons of things I still need to learn, and I mean, with art, the learning curve kind of never stops, you know, but obviously once you start and you start getting into art a bit more, you realize how much there is to learn. Despite all the challenges I faced with this painting, I'm okay with the outcome, I'd say. I could have done better, but I also could have done a lot worse, so we're taking it. I also don't have that much time for art at the moment as I'd like to have, because I am writing my final exams for school, so there's also a lot of studying that I should be doing at least. Yeah, but you know, it's important to take breaks, and for me art has really turned into a way to wind down again, which I'm very grateful for. So yeah, I finished this one. I kind of glued some paper over the parts I didn't like and fixed it, and then I decided to try and color a sketch I did a while ago that I really liked with those. It was also quite a challenge due to the color palette, and I love the sketch, you know, and I feel like coloring sketches you love with a new medium is always a bit tricky because you're very afraid of messing up, and this was really out of my comfort zone, very unusual for me, and I don't love how it turned out, but I think in general the style is quite cool, and it's something I might want to consider doing again in the future. So I definitely learned something from this, and I think that's the most important thing. As you're watching me color in the skin, I'd also really like to talk about my choice of colors for this for a second, and if I'm happy with it or not. Before I started actually coloring in the sketch, I did some swatches and tried to come up with the color palette for this piece. Oh, not the color palette, but where I wanted which color to go. And I couldn't really decide, so I once again just started to wing it. might be a bit of an issue. I probably should start planning my pieces a bit more in the future, even though this was just a sketch, so it's fine. I'm not sure if I like my choice. Maybe it would have been better to color the skin yellow and use a bit more blue, but it might also just be my personal preference because I usually work with a bit more dull colors, coldish values and tones. But as I said, I was kind of trying to just branch out, so it's fine. And a big mistake I made in here, which you can really see, is that I didn't really manage to actually clean the brush, and I was using the same brush for all of the colors. So the same brush I had used to block in the blue shapes and the blue tones, I used to color the pants yellow. They were supposed to be yellow, now they're just looking greenish. And I don't know if it's just due to those paints, because I couldn't just clean the brush with water. I should have used soap, or if I just was a bit too impatient. It's something I really need to figure out with those, because I do want to use them again, because they make for a nice visual effect and they are really easy to blend. But yeah, I think there's still some research I need to do on these, and I just need to get used to using them. But if you're also getting those, don't make the same mistake as me. Clean your brushes properly. You will regret it if you don't, because it just makes for a very muddy look. And that's it for this video. I didn't make a huge painting with those because, as I said, the tubes are quite small. I think they're 10 milliliters. But I hope you enjoyed it, and if you already tested those, let me know how it worked for you and what you think about the pieces I did in this video, and I'll see you next time.